looks like it.
Alright.
I like how bright and handsome you look. Jeez.
Alright, here we go. We're just going to it. Cool?
Yeah, just casual drinking water. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Set?
yeah, that's cool.
Alright.
You can drink your water. It's cool.
I'll have it here and I'll drink as we talk if that's okay.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'd like to thank the audience for your time. I'd like to thank the moderator here for having me.
Alright, what's up everyone? One of the most common questions that I get is, what do I think about CrossFit? Or what is CrossFit? So I wanted to make a video basically talking about my opinions on what CrossFit is or what I think about it. And I was kind of apprehensive about making a video just by myself because I think that there's a lot of people out there that are really sensitive about CrossFit. So I thought, what better than to bring in my friend Bill, and then he can talk about CrossFit, and then all the heat's on him.
Yeah, perfect. Works out good for you.
And just so you know, my intent with this isn't to grill Bill or kind of back him into a corner or something like that. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit on CrossFit. So, Bill.
Yes.
What is CrossFit?
Oh, you're gonna start off with that. Man, it's too much to put into one sentence, but you know, I'll say if you asked Greg Glassman that, he'd say constantly varied, high-intensity functional movement, which doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but basically that means constantly varied. It's always something a little bit different. High intensity, that means you're always working hard, and then functional movements. CrossFit came up with a definition for what functional movement is, and that's efficient movement. So. The combination of those three parameters kind of forms CrossFit, and then there's a lot within that, obviously. So.
Okay, Bill, so constantly varying. So in your opinion, let's just say that I'm out there in the woods, and each day I'm doing a different task.
Okay.
Right? I'm chopping a tree down, I'm picking something up, I'm doing blah, blah, blah. So it's constantly varying, and it sounds like it meets your criteria of functional movement based off what CrossFit is, right? No?
It could.
Would you consider that CrossFit or no?
No, not necessarily. I don't know. There's a lot of things that you have to fit into that, I guess. I mean, that's a very general statement, so it's hard to say whether or not that would be CrossFit. If you just basically said a guy's chopping wood in the woods, it depends on what he's doing, whether the high intensity aspect of it would mean that he would have to be working hard.
Okay.
So if he was just chopping wood in the woods, willy-nilly, then that would not fall into the CrossFit category, the CrossFit realm.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Bill.
Sir.
Who are you? And why should we care about what you have to say?
Oh, yeah. I'm not affiliated with CrossFit at all. I've just been doing it for a few years. I started when I was an undergraduate. I got a bachelor's degree in kinesiology from UTSA, University of Texas at San Antonio. I'm a third-year physical therapy student at Texas Women's University. And I've been doing CrossFit the whole time, mostly self-educated, just on the CrossFit website, the videos that they post, and then I've kind of related that to my studies and what I know about biomechanics and exercise. So yeah, I'm not affiliated with them at all. This is just my take on it.
So Bill came to Lifetime Fitness, and he was doing CrossFit, and at that time, really none of the trainers were doing CrossFit, and he basically converted like half of the team to CrossFit.
Yeah.
And you've had your clients do CrossFit, and you like to say you've had them try the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I don't say that, but you could say that.
I heard you say that.
I never tried to say that. Kool-Aid?
Okay,
That's
fine.
not one of my sayings.
Okay, fine.
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
Okay, so tell us, what are the pros of CrossFit? What are the cons of CrossFit?
Pros, I'd say it's a great way for just all-around general fitness. That's what it's designed to do. I think it gives arguably the best results you could possibly ask for. If their definition of fitness is your goal, I think it delivers in that regard. Cons, the main cons are what everybody talks about, injury rate, but injury rate isn't something that's unique to CrossFit at all. It's something that's pervasive throughout the entire fitness industry. And basically, as always, it comes down to personal responsibility and taking responsibility for your actions and being safe when you exercise. So you could work out with a trainer and get hurt. You could work out doing CrossFit and get hurt. In that presentation that I sent you that you decided not to.
I looked at.
Okay.
I looked at it.
He looked at the presentation for the record.
I did.
Anyways, I did a literature review, and basically the research right now that's available isn't great. It's mostly survey data, so very low level of evidence. But right now it indicates that the injury rates are pretty similar to things like gymnastics, Olympic weightlifting, and rugby. So not super high, and that's even keeping in mind a few biases that are introduced with survey data. So there's only been one RCT or randomized controlled trial with, and they only used a sample size of 16, so not very many people. And I think the injury rate in that was like 16%, 19%. And that's actually the study that CrossFit is suing the people who conducted the study over, because they have an issue with their methods and whether or not the data that they reported is accurate, because there's a few different things wrong with the study. So.
Okay.
From CrossFit's point of view.
Bill, do you think that CrossFit is for everyone?
Yeah, definitely.
So you think that...
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm just curious your take on it, because I just speaking from my own experience, I'm curious what you have to say about this. I think we talked about it before.
Yeah.
But the high intensity, I don't feel that high intensity would necessarily be the best thing for every single individual, depending on their state that their body's in.
Right.
So, in general, you're saying that CrossFit is high intensity. So if you take somebody who's overstressed, whether it be psychologically, physically, whatever it might be, and then you apply this high intensity to them, I think the adaptations that occur from that won't necessarily be ideal. And I remember when you came to CrossFit, or when you came to Lifetime and you were doing CrossFit, I tried doing it, and I wasn't necessarily seeing any kind of gains personally.
Right.
When I increased the intensity, but I gave myself more rest time and did more of a traditional split, I would see more gains. Speaking from my own experience. So what do you have to say about that?
I would say that it depends on what you're measuring. You need to be specific about what you're measuring.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you're talking about strength.
Okay.
And if you want to get stronger, then as it turns out, the best thing to do is strength training. So you're talking about, you're saying you're doing strength training. Strength training is a component of CrossFit, but because CrossFit covers many different components, strength is one of those, a very, very important, probably the most important component, because their goal is power. Strength is a component of power. But yeah, if you just want to get stronger, then you need to do periodized strength training. That's the best way to do it. But CrossFit definitely can get you stronger to a certain point. You're kind of a high-level athlete. I mean, arguably, but you're not in the 50th percentile. You're kind of a higher level guy. So for somebody like you, it would take a stronger stimulus. And I'm not even saying, I still think you could get stronger with CrossFit if you programmed it right. Mm-hmm. But what you're doing probably wasn't.
So what you just said, if you programmed it right, mm-hmm. Okay. So I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there as far as CrossFit, because you're saying constantly varied. And I've talked to several people, I've done my own kind of research based off what I've seen, and it seems like there's two sides. One is it's constantly varying, there's no kind of structure, and then there's absolute structure. For example, I've gone into CrossFit Box, and they had their whole program designed out for the next 2 months.
D. Zimmerman?
Name drop!
Name drop! Busted.
Uh-oh, he's watching right now, I know he is.
Yeah.
What's he going to say about CrossFit?
Do you want me to speak on that point?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's where the waters get a little bit muddy, for sure.